What's going on, y'all? It's araneaestorm checking in. As of today, the North Node shifting from North Node in Cancer, South Node in Capricorn to North Node in Gemini and the South Node in Sagittarius. Ding! What does that mean? Fix this collar though. Trying to be extra, but check the fit, check it. Go from cardinal South and North Node to mutable South and North Node. The South Node talks about our things that we've been comfortable in, our comfortabilities. You definitely want to check and see where your South Node sits and rests in your chart. As far as the overall energy of the earth, the South Node is that. It's what we've been comfortable to. It's what we're accustomed to. So we'll be seeing a lot of Sag themes play out. North Node will be the things, the challenges, things that we're working through, things that we are going to be seeing until January 2022. So we have the North Node in Gemini. Let's talk about it. What is Gemini? Gemini is a sign of communication. It's the sign of the messenger god. It wants to communicate. It wants to talk. It's very, 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 very curious in Saturn Aquarius and just the age of Aquarius period. There's going to be a lot of advancements in technology as well as the way we are communicating through these different mediums. Gemini is a sign that needs to be stimulated. It's not always through touch, even though it is ruled by the hand. It's more so with words. Like if we were going to talk about foreplay, Gemini will be more so, compelled to want to fuck around if you're talking to them versus you physically doing the do. I mean, not all Geminis, but for the most part, Geminis, they need to hear you. They need to hear you speak. They need to hear you do what you do. That's what's gonna get the cherry pop. I'm just being real. Multitasking, no filter, arguments, they keep the ball rolling. Gossip, that's another thing that you wanna, steer clear of. So many ideas. There's so many things that I could do, you could do. There's just so many things. Everybody, because Gemini is very much so wanting to argue its position on things, there could be a lot of arguments or people feeling like they have to get the last word, feeling like they have to prove a point, feeling like, oh, well, if this is how I feel about it, that means that it rules gold. On the other side of that, Gemini is very much so the mutability. If we're going to talk about mutability, like open to different perspectives and the way other people might feel about things and how that can all come into play. So Gemini can definitely keep itself open when it comes to things. Short journeys are doing more so road trip versus Sagittarius, who wants to go overseas and travel the globe and travel globe trotting all over. You know what I mean? Gemini's like, all right, we about to go pack up, you know what I'm saying? I'm in, Georgia right now, so let's just say I'm about to go to Florida for a little bit, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna take a quick road trip to Florida. Your immediate family too, if we're talking about the house, but just the energy of Gemini in general is like your brothers, sisters, and auntie, uncles, things like that. Close family. Sagittarius is like meeting people from different countries and talking to people from outside of your family dynamic. For a lot of people, this could definitely be going back into the past. Thing that's happening with COVID and all that kind of stuff. It's definitely kept us or put us in a place of like what's actually really important. And I think towards the end of the North Node in Cancer, we've had to reevaluate the things that are actually important to us and the things that we actually want to keep moving forward along in this journey, physically and emotionally, especially emotionally. Gemini can be, it's the twin. So there's a part of Gemini that can be really, 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 really attached, and there's a part of Gemini that can be really, really, really detached. That's just like, I don't give a fuck. Keep it pushing, keep it moving. You definitely want to be liked. I know that's not going to be the case with every single thing that happens, but just taking things, with a grain of salt, not taking things completely and totally to heart, letting things kind of roll off. Because a lot of this energy is going to be about people deciding to start to speak and say what's on their mind. And sometimes because we're releasing, especially because we're in a Scorpio full moon week, and you know this energy is going to be carrying out like different themes throughout the rest of this year. It's like people are going to be wanting to say things and are going to be dealing with things, and it might come out. And just know that even if it comes out towards you, sometimes it's just a projection of self. A lot of times it's just a projection of self. So just kind of let the shit roll off your back. Don't take it so serious. Sagittarius will take that shit seriously. But Gemini is like, is it really that serious? It just kind of flew over Gemini's head. So they are the messenger gods of the zodiac. And you also want to look to your chart to see where Gemini is sitting in your birth chart. So make sure to definitely check that out when you get a chance. Gemini is going to be creating so many opportunities for you to be able to speak, for you to be able to explore, for you to be able to get outside of your comfort zone. Gemini does not like being in any kind of zone. No zones for Gemini. Gemini does not like being in a zone. You cannot hold down air. You cannot put air into a capsule. You cannot. It's just air. It's going to seep through the cracks one way or another. Also know that this is the perfect time for distractions. When I tell you, and I think I've told y'all before on that sun sign Gemini video, if I haven't already, Gemini is the masters of multiple tabs. And I'm not just talking about on your computer browser, bruh. I'm talking about in life. Gemini can have so many windows and so many browsers up that it can be hard for Gemini to focus on one thing. So if we're talking about building versus Sagittarius kind of flings that arrow back, boom, it goes, and then you going down the, you know, the not the rabbit hole, but just you're focused into one place and focus into putting your energy into that so you can build something long term. Gemini is like, oh well,
like this. Oh, and I like this, like a kid. Like I like this. Ooh, I want this. Ooh, I want that. Ooh.
It goes in so many directions that it can be hard. Like you'll go through all these different directions, and it's great that you want to try things. But it's like you need to figure out the things that you really want to be or really want to be focused on. Because this energy can be used for your benefit. You just have to know what it is. What are the things that you want to focus on? Whether it's in a relationship, whether it's through your work, whether it's through whatever the case may be. You want to make sure that your focus, you're channeling that energy, that overactive energy, because Gemini is an overactive sign. It needs stimulation at all costs. It's very much so high-strung energy. So use that energy for your benefit. Channel it into something that you want to build. You might find that at this time that you might be switching careers. Sagittarius is more focused on the goal, the overall big picture, where Gemini is focused on the small, minute details. So allow Gemini to guide you in the direction that you want to be. Just let that energy carry you to the next step and the next step and the next step. Listen to the messages that come through. Be open to other people's perspectives. You don't have to necessarily agree on the shit, but be open to other people and their ideas, and you know, bounce ideas off of each other. It's a great time for collaboration. Sagittarius on the South Node want to go at things alone, has to go on this solo journey, has to become detached from people, places, situations, and things. Gemini is like your local neighborhood. Gemini knows everybody on the block. Gemini has been here, you know what I mean? And people know who Gemini is because Gemini has been around. Your local neighborhood, your local stores, your local people, like it's the locals. So take that time, be collaborative with people. We don't know when this thing is going to lift as far as, you know, this stay at home order, whatever the case may be, but when it does, you're going to see a lot more people doing things in their hometown, in their city. Even if they taking like a little trip or, you know, play to another place for a little bit, they'll come right back home, spread it around to the community that they're in to build those communities. Because in order to have a strong set, in order to have a strong, you know, back, you need to build small. So by the time the North Node goes into Sagittarius, which is in the next couple years on, you know, when we come together, it'll be a lot stronger. Explore, and allow your curiosity and allow your mental space to be open and free. And, you know, no filters, no nothing. Speak on how you feel. You know, communicate with people that you've never, you know, even though Gemini will want to still stick around to that familiar energy, you know, it's okay to expand your circle. You know, figure out those things that, you know, are good for you. And it's not all just about the North Node energy. A Sagittarian energy is also, there's some things that will be used too. Sagittarius is a fire sign. It's a mutable fire. It's very passionate. It rules philosophy. It rules, you know, long-term travel, long-distance travels, your mottos, your, you know, religion, your whatever it is that you practice on a daily basis, you know, and you can switch at any day, you know what I mean? Sagittarius is that. It's higher learning, it's higher education. You know, Gemini is very skilled. It's a very skilled sign. It learns different skills and can build things off of those skills. Sagittarius is a, you know, it kind of expands that. Another thing about Gemini too is building on those skills. You know, where Sagittarius will be like, you know, you get into a university and you have to pass this test, or you have to pass or do this thing in order to get in. Shit, you go to Gemini, and Gemini's like, I don't give a fuck about that resume. Shit, I ain't even trying to look at that resume right now. I want to know, what can you bring to the table right now? Practical work. What can you do with your hands? You know what I'm saying? To bring something to the table. A lot of things built around the level of skill you have versus what knowledge or what higher education or things like that. Because now the system, the whole education system is being changed right now. The entire education system will be. This is a good time to, especially because we're working from home, or if you wanting to work from home, it's a good time to build businesses. It's a great time to build businesses right now, you know, and, you know, doing online things, maybe teaching a class, or, you know, hosting something, or, you know, just doing things to get you outside of your comfort zone, and also to be able to share your knowledge. Gemini is the messenger. Share your knowledge. Do not keep that shit held up in here. Because if you keep that shit held up in here, it can be very, 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 very destructive, especially for Gemini energy. So just know that we in this bitch. We gonna be in here for a good minute. Like I said, until January 2022. And shit, that's all I got for y'all. Now make sure y'all look out for it. You already know what it is. It's araneaestorm checking in. You know where to find me. Instagram, Facebook, araneaestorm. Find me. See y'all soon.